Leia Healthcare. It's good to live. Proud sponsor of the Real Health podcast with Carl Henry.
Welcome to the latest episode of Real Health with me, Carl Henry, in association with Leia Healthcare. Folks, today we have an incredible treat in store for you. A Real Health First, a live meditation with the amazing Dermot Whelan, who has his incredible new book out, Mindful, out in all good bookstores now. And today he's going to bring us through a live guided meditation that you can come back to at any stage to bring you through some very calming and relaxing meditation practices. Dermot Whelan, how's it going?
I'm great, Carl. Lovely to see you again. How are you?
I'm good. Congratulations on your book. I was watching on Instagram opening the box. Amazing feeling when it comes to life for the first time.
Yeah, well, you know very well, being a well-published man at this point, but obviously it's a first for me. And I suppose when you're writing a book, I didn't know anything about writing a book. I just started to, tap away on my laptop. So it lives either in your mind or on your laptop in this kind of hypothetical space. So when the publisher actually sends you a box of your own 20 copies to give out to friends or whatever, it's a strange feeling when you see it there. It's like something that literally came out of your head into a book form. So I'm really enjoying this part of it, I have to say.
And meditation, like we've had you on the show before chatting about it, and it's something that you're very passionate about and something that you deeply believe in, and it has huge benefits for you generally, especially over the course of the last 12 months. And it's become a little bit more mainstream and trendier now because people have needed something like meditation to get through these very stressful times.
Yeah, and I think obviously COVID amplified a lot of things, but our mental state was one of those. And you're exactly right when you say people are maybe turning towards things like meditation now that maybe they didn't traditionally do because it was associated with particular spiritual groups or traditions, or people just had a lot of preconceptions about the world of meditation, and that you had to wear white flowy clothes if you were going to do it. And as Irish people, that doesn't work. We just look like we're in our pajamas or we've escaped from somewhere. So I guess it's for me, it's the science over the last 10 years in particular that really stands out. I know we've discussed it before, but I think that's a great currency for people and something to latch onto, particularly for us blokes. We love a bit of science. I'm not saying that women don't either, but I actually are slower towards this kind of thing, a little care. We traditionally might reach for a pint, but there are other things, and whether you're male or female, it's lovely to have some things, some real usable techniques, some useful techniques, and some simple techniques in your emotional and mental toolbox that you can reach for. And that, if things get a little bit stressed, which they do, we can't avoid stress, at least we have something there, just like we would do for your personal training. If someone's feeling a bit sluggish, they know they can go to someone like you, get some expert advice and get on the right track. So it's the same for our mental well-being. And I think people are starting to realize that it would be nice to know a couple of things that I could use so that if I'm experiencing stress at home or at work or whatever it is, that I can just nip it in the bud, turn off my stress response, and get back to being my calm, productive self.
Amazing. So listen, if you're listening in or watching on Instagram TV or on YouTube, put some time aside. The next 20 minutes or so, Dermot's going to bring you through some guided meditation. It's an absolute treat. I've been lucky enough to do one or two of these before with Dermot, so I'm delighted he's agreed to do it for us. Dermot, it's very much over to you. I'll leave it in your hands for the next 20 minutes or so.
Thanks so much, Carl. Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for giving me your attention and giving yourself this little bit of time. It's nice to take a little bit of time that actually is just for us, and sometimes that can seem a little bit selfish, and it's like, well, it's very me, isn't it? But actually, it's all tied into our ripple. And, when we take time out, or even moments out of the day, to tune in with ourselves and just turn off that stress response, amplify the nice feelings of being present and being relaxed and being ourselves, that ripples out into the world around us, into our relationships, into our work, into our passions, into our pastimes, whatever it is. So hopefully you'll be taking a nice little bit of a ripple and sending it out into the world after our little exercise here. Before we get started, I just want to explain to you very briefly what we're going to do, because I like to let people know why we're doing what we're doing. So I'm going to start off with the world's simplest breathing technique, the world's simplest meditation. And that's something I call the one breath wonder. And then we're going to move that out into something a little bit bigger called 16 seconds. And these are perfect meditations for any of you who feel I have too many thoughts in my head. I am too fidgety. I cannot sit still. I don't think meditation's for me. I'd love you to try these because I think they're really, really going to be useful for you, and you can use them anytime, anywhere after this session. We're going to move into something called a body scan after that. And that's basically getting us out of our heads and into various parts of our body. We literally scan our attention from top to bottom. And we just zone in on any areas of discomfort or stiffness or tension. And at the end of it, I guarantee you, you'll feel really, really nicely relaxed. Okay, so I hope that makes things nice and clear for you. And we might even throw in a little extra technique at the end, but I'll keep you up to date on that. And remember, before we start, meditation, very simply, is focusing our mind on one thing. And when our mind wanders off, which it will, we gently guide our attention back to what we were focusing on. So if it's our breath, we focus on our breath. When our mind wanders off, which it will, we gently just notice it's wandered, and then we bring it back to our breath. So it's like a constant tennis match between focusing your attention on one thing and distraction. And the ball is just bouncing between your focus, being distracted, and gently bouncing back. And that's all it is. So if your mind wanders 100 times in the next 20 minutes or so, then it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's exactly what you're meant to be doing. And each moment you spend in the meditation is really, really good for your brain and your nervous system. And that's what we're hoping to do. We're going to shift our nervous system from the sympathetic, that fight or flight mode that a lot of us spend our time in these days, into the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest state. And that's where we want to be. So when you're ready, you can take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose if you can. Hold that in for a moment and gently let that go. Really good. So we're breathing. I want you to imagine that you're breathing down into your belly. And each time you take an in-breath, you'll feel your belly rise and expand with the breath. And then when you let it go, you'll feel your belly drop again. Let's try that. Nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Hold that in the belly for a moment. And then we gently let that go. Really good. Another one of those nice, long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose. This is called belly breathing. Hold that in the belly. Gently let that go. Really good. So now we're going to do our one breath wonder, okay? And this is for anyone who feels it hard to concentrate on their breath or whatever else they're doing in a meditation and feel that their mind wanders off in all kinds of directions. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one of those nice belly breaths in through our nose, feel our belly expand. And then I want you just to try and keep your attention on the out breath, okay? And by that, I mean just watching the air leave your body, listening to the breath to leave your body, just being aware of that out breath, okay? And that's all we got to do in this. So when you're ready, nice, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Hold it in the belly for a moment. Now just let that breath go. Just listening to the breath leave your body, just feeling the breath leave, just being aware that you're breathing out. Really good. Let's try that again. Nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Now the one breath wonder. Just trying to keep your attention on your out breath. Just let that go. You can breathe out through your nose or through your mouth, whatever's comfortable. Just watching the breath leave. Really good. Congratulations, you're all meditators now. That's the one breath wonder. Very, very effective at relaxing your nervous system. And even just doing that one breath, you have lowered your heart rate, you have lowered your blood pressure, you've lowered your stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and your body's starting to shift now into that rest and digest state. Okay? So let's move that out into something slightly longer. And this is called square breath or box breathing, or 16 seconds as my teacher used to call it. So in this, we just breathe into a count of 4. We hold it in our bellies for a count of 4. Then we let that breath go again like we just did, and we count to 4. And then we hold that breath out for a count of 4 before we take another in-breath. I'll guide you through it, so don't worry if it seems a little bit complicated. Nice and comfortable. If you haven't closed your eyes just yet, and it's safe to do so, try closing your eyes for this one. So when you're ready, take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. And let that go. Okay, we're going to do our 16 seconds now. So when you're ready, take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in again. 2, 3, 4. Now hold that breath in your belly. 2, 3, 4. Let that breath go now. Just watching it go back out like you did a moment ago. 2, 3, 4. And now hold that breath out. Before you breathe in again, just let's keep that breath out. 2, 3, 4. And now just breathing normally. Nice and relaxed. Well done. That's the 16-second meditation. Now you know 2 different types of meditating. Now just watching the breath go in. Just watching the breath go back out again. Watching your breath go in. Watching the breath go back out again. Just breathing away, watching the breath go in and out. And I'm a big believer in real meditation. And what that is that we live in a real world full of distractions, and you will hear noises, and dogs may bark, and doorbells may ring, and voices may be heard, and phones might buzz. Whatever's going on in your environment, it's okay if you become distracted. And remember, all meditation is focusing our mind when it wanders off to something like a noise or a thought of something we got to do later on. We just simply bring our attention back to our breath. So let's just do that for another couple of moments. Just focusing our attention on our breath, just watching it go in, watching it go back out. Watching the breath go in, and watching the breath go back out. Really good. And it's a tennis match between your focus of your attention, between your breath, and any kind of distraction. Really good. Now we're going to move into a body scan. This is such a powerful way to relax. If you feel wound up from work, wound up from the state of the world, maybe you've got some financial worries or a health challenge you're facing, maybe you're just feeling tense or anxious and you're not even sure why. This is a great way to unwind. And particularly if you've been dealing with any sleep issues, this is a fantastic little technique that you can do before you go to sleep, or indeed in the middle of the night if you happen to wake up. So I want you just to bring your attention to the top of your head. Okay, I want you just to imagine the very top of your head, and I want you to imagine that when you breathe in, you're breathing into that space. Just focus your attention here for a moment and then let that go. Now with this body scan, every time we breathe in, we're going to breathe into that specific area, and we're going to give our bodies permission to release any tension in that area, okay? And with every out breath, we release any stress, anxiety, or tension or discomfort that we're holding on to. So breathing into the top of the head and just letting anything go there. Now I want you to move your focus down to your forehead. Breathing in there, a lot of tension in our forehead, a lot of tiny muscles. Just give that permission to release anything that's holding on there. Letting it go. Widening your attention out to the sides of your head. Any tension around the back of your head as well. Just imagine that band around your head. Just breathing in there. And letting anything go. Really good. So we're moving down into the face now, all our tiny facial muscles. Breathing in there. And letting our attention drift down to our jaw muscle. A lot of tension in our jaw, strongest muscle in the body. We carry a lot of tension, in that area. Just breathe in there now. And just let that go. You might want to stretch your jaw here. Just let any tension go. Just bring your attention, your focus to your tongue and where that is in your mouth. Sometimes when we're a bit worked up, we can press our tongue right into the roof of our mouth and it stays there for most of the day in that tense state. Just try and relax your tongue as well inside your mouth and just breathing in there. All your jaw, your mouth relaxed. Just letting that go. Really good. Moving our attention now down to our neck and our shoulders. Any of you who've been working from home know that you can get quite tense in these areas. I'd love you to imagine that when you breathe in, you're going to pour warm water all over your neck, all over your shoulders, and it's going to just drip down your arms and onto the floor. Okay? So with the out breath, we're just letting that warm water pour and release any tension there. Letting that go. Really good. Moving down into the arms, down into the biceps, down to the elbow. Breathing right down into our forearms, right down to our wrists, right down into our fingertips. I want you to imagine you're breathing in, your breath goes right down your arms into your fingertips. And when you breathe out, you're just releasing any tension right down, out of your fingers, down onto the floor. Just letting it all go. Really good. Now bringing our attention to our heart, into our chest and our upper back. Just imagine you're breathing into that space now. Filling it up, letting any tension go. Moving down to our solar plexus, down to our stomach area, down to our gut. Just breathing in there. If there's any anxiety hanging around, maybe in your stomach area or your gut, just breathing in there, just letting it go. Sometimes when we're breathing into our heart or we're breathing into our stomach area, we can feel a little bit emotional. That's okay if you're feeling a little bit emotionally wobbly at this time. Just try not to analyze it. Just breathing in, just letting it go. Really good. Moving down into the pelvis, the glutes, and the upper legs. If anyone's been exercising a lot, this is a lovely exercise to do after you've been training. Breathing in there. Filling up the legs down to the knees, letting any tension go. Moving on down to the lower leg, down towards the ankles, breathing in there. Letting it go right down into the feet. And when you're ready, take a nice, long, slow, deep breath and imagine the breath going right down to the tips of your toes, right into the tips of your toes. And letting any tension go. Really good. We're really giving our body a chance to relax now. It's okay if you feel yawny and snoozy. It's a good sign. We can go through a whole day, a whole week without ever actually sitting down or lying down with no other purpose than to just relax our bodies and minds. What I'd like you to do now is do a little mental scan of your body. So from your toes right up to your head and back down again. And I want you to pay particular attention to anywhere you feel you're drawn to. So it could be a stiff joint, it could be a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of tension, a little bit of anxiety, some heaviness maybe. Anywhere you're drawn to, just rest your attention on that place for a moment. And take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose, into that area, just give permission to whatever's hanging around there just to let it go. Whatever's lingering, you don't need it, just letting it go. Breathing into that space again. Breathing in. And letting anything go. Anything we don't need. Just scanning the body. Does any other place you'd like to breathe into and release? And if you're not drawn to any place in particular, just enjoy the sensation of being nice and relaxed, watching your breath go in and watching your breath go out. Really good. And now that we're in this nice relaxed state, it's a perfect time to set some intentions. And what that means is basically that we're going to take a little bit of control. We're going to set our trajectory. So often we just get up in the morning, we wander through the day, and we just wait for whatever's going to happen to us. And we don't necessarily say that we'd like a say in what happens to us. We'd like to choose how we'd like to feel. And we have more choice in the matter of how we'd like to feel than we think. And we can program our subconscious to look out for things, to be joyful about, confident about whatever you're feeling. So I'd like you just to get clear on how would you like to feel for the rest of the day? How would you like to feel for the rest of the day? This is just like setting Google Maps for your mood, for your well-being, just putting in our coordinates. That's all we're doing here. So maybe you want to feel happier, more confident, more joyful, more patient, more peaceful, more creative, whatever it is, just get clear on that in your mind's eye. And I'd like you just to feel that emotion. See if you can lock that into your heart space there. That's where we tend to feel these things. So I'd love you just to zone in on how you want to feel and just imagine that feeling now starting to grow in and around where your heart is. Just try and get clear on that. So if you want to feel confident, you can feel that confidence building. If it's joy, feel that building. If it's peaceful, feel that peace, sense of calm spreading across your chest. And when you're ready, take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it there for a moment. We're just planting that little seed of intention, and we're going to let that go. Really good. Now I want us to just widen our intention, okay? And this is to something that we'd like to see unfold in our life. So something beyond today. So maybe it's something like a relationship or financial or a goal you'd like to achieve or a way you'd like to feel or a health challenge you'd like to overcome or any kind of challenge in your life. What would you like to see unfold? Okay? Don't be afraid to go big on it. Just try and get clear on what that is in your mind. It's okay if you can't see all the detail or what it will exactly look like if it unfolded. But just try and get as clear as you can on what that intention is. And just bringing in any of those feelings. How would you feel when you'd accomplish whatever it is? Would you feel strong or happy or joyful, healthy? Just try and zone in on that for a few seconds. How it would feel. Maybe bring in some other senses. Are there any things you can see when you visualize yourself in your own movie? When you accomplish this thing that you're hoping to see unfold? Are there any proud faces around you? Are there any people that you love saying, well done? Are you feeling proud in yourself? Whatever it is. And now we're going to do that again. We're going to jump back in. We're going to plant that seed of intention into that heart space again. And then we let that go. Really good. So we're just coming to the end of this meditation now. You've all done really well, and particularly if you're new to this, it could feel a bit unusual or clunky. You might even feel a bit silly doing it. Very, very effective. And it's literally changing your brain physically when we do these exercises, reducing our fear centers, reducing those centers and those parts of our brain that cause anxious, fearful, or angry thoughts. And we've set our trajectory, we've set our Google Maps for the day and the weeks ahead. So let's just take another nice, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Feel that in the belly. Then we gently let that go. One more of those for the crack. Nice, long, slow, deep breath in. And we let that go. Well done. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and come back into the room. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and rejoin the day. So thank you very much. We did a lot in that little meditation. We did our one breath wonder. We did our 16 seconds. We did our body scan, so effective for relaxing. And we set some intentions. We set our Google Maps for how we'd like to feel. And we lowered our heart rate, our blood pressure, and relaxed our nervous system. So well done, everybody.
Dermot Whelan, unquestionably the most relaxed episode of Real Health I think we've ever done. I feel a bit floaty after that.
That's great.
God, I love when we catch up because I feel so good after it. It slows me down and relaxes me, which is wonderful. Anyway, remind us again, name of the book, and it's out in all good bookstores. The name of it is?
The book is called Mindful, and it's chock full of really easy techniques. I explain them all. I explained a lot of my favorite science around meditation in there. Of course, I got my whole story about how I got into all this stuff and how a stand-up comic from Limerick ended up giving guided meditations to all you wonderful people. So, it's out April 16. You can pre-order it now, and dermotwhelan.com is the place to go for that or any other free guided meditations. If people like the sound of what we just did, you can nip in there, and there's some free stuff up there as well.
Folks, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Health with me, Carl Henry, in association with Leia Healthcare. A very relaxed session, but a very powerful session too. And don't forget that we'll be on my Instagram TV and my YouTube channel, and you can head to Dermot's website for more free guided meditations there too. We'll see you next week for more Real Health.
Leia Healthcare. It's good to live. Proud sponsor of the Real Health podcast with Carl Henry.